This is Korith Landwalker, and today we are going to be doing a couple hours worth of Star Citizen. This is looking like it's going to start being a regular thing for me. I'd originally been doing Wednesday night streams of Star Trek Online, but I've been kicking around doing something like this for a couple of hours on the weekend stream. I'm still deciding as to the specific dates I will latch on to. I'm monkeying around with Sunday right now from 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern, but it's possible I might set that back to Saturday. I might adjust the hours. Always in motion the future, as a little green friend once said. In any event, I hope you'll enjoy the next couple hours of Star Citizen, where I'm going to do something un-Star Citizen-ish. In previous streams, I'd gone about flying around, doing bounty hunting, cargo hauling, stuff like that. Last week, I tried to do a little something different, but the constant server crashes made it a little difficult. That's just something that you have to live with when you're playing in an alpha state game. Server crashes happen. You adapt to it, or you don't. So, I'm going to try to adapt. I am presently, if I remember correctly, in FotR's Harbor, a space station that is orbiting the world of Hurston. It's arguably my favorite place to be as far as places to log in, because it's a very easy trek from spawn-in point to, the ship deck, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. The location where I will choose what I want to fly. I'm good with that. Now today, we're going to start with flying the Freelancer. And there's a reason why I'm going to be choosing the Freelancer specifically today. If you've never seen FotR's Harbor, if you don't play Star Citizen, for example, or you're interested in Star Citizen, it's got a few shops that are available. You've got an armor shop over here. You've got the administration section over here where you can take care of dropping off or picking up box deliveries or doing the same with cargo hauling. Upstairs you have a Kasaba outlet where you can purchase some clothing, and a Platinum Bay where you can pick up some starship components, although notably not weapons. Now, for the most part, everything from there is pretty much hallways. Once we get around the corner up ahead, however, there will be another area that breaks off into the right. And that's where the food court is, for lack of a better term. And that's where you can find some water and food that you can consume, where you don't have to worry about dying of dehydration and starvation. Both are equally great possibilities if you play too long and ignore your little details. Okay, Freelancer, tree. Now, if we're really lucky, it won't glitch out and it'll tell me what pad I'm going to. Awesome, pad 3. That seems to be pretty consistent, really. So we'll hop in the elevator, select pad 3, take a quick look to make sure that I'm still wearing a helmet, because going out into the void of space without a helmet can be hazardous to your health. Don't be like me, especially when I'm at Port Olisar and finishing some food and water, then going into an airlock and discovering, oh wait, I never put my helmet back on. Cue choking, gasping noises. Great stuff. Now we are closing in. Usually the pads are like 2 to 3 kilometers away from elevator entry. Now, I've said this before, although I'm not entirely sure how many people will recall it, or for that matter, how many people will have even seen previous recordings where I've said it. But the Freelancer is one of my personal favorite ships. It can do a lot of stuff. It's good for lots of box deliveries. It's decent for cargo. It's got decent weaponry which can handle combat, at least against NPC opponents. I've even upgraded the equipment on here to an extent, threw in some laser repeaters instead of the ballistics. Okay, it seems that I'm on the dark side of Hurston right now. Not that that matters all that much. I can do what I want to in the dark, but let's go to, well, let's make it simple. We'll go to Edmund, which is right next door to Lorville. Now, it's reasonable to ask, why am I going to Edmund and not to Lorville? I'd forgotten that my fuel supply repair status is probably not where I want it to be from the last time I flew. That'll be easy enough to fix at Edmund, however, presuming that the repair area doesn't glitch on me, which is always a danger. And honestly, 75% fuel is not a big problem right now because I'm not planning on going very far. You see, the plan is to do some first-person shooter bunker busting missions. There's a pair of missions in the Mercenary tab that involve going into a bunker and taking out either a single target or all of the targets. And I would like to do a bit of that today. However, the bunkers are usually well defended. They have a number of turrets, and they can really wreck your day. If you're trying to attack in a fighter, a light fighter for example, your shields are probably going to get hammered like crazy. If you're not in a light fighter, they're still going to get hit pretty good, but you at least have a chance of surviving. Shooting the turrets down is a little challenging, especially if you're in a Freelancer with the gimbaled weapons that can't really target the turrets. And that's fair. But I've been trying a little experiment. I've been using Ursa rovers to approach my target locations. The turrets don't seem to respond well to the Ursa, so I'm able to approach them and blow them up with the onboard weaponry of the Ursa rover. However, you'll carefully note that I am not flying a ship large enough to carry an Ursa rover. But what I can carry is a Drake Dragonfly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to approach the target locations on the Dragonfly, take care of the turrets with the Dragonfly weapon systems, which might be a little more challenging because I think they're using scatter guns. We'll double check on that once I pick it up. And that way the Freelancer doesn't have to worry about getting hammered. It's a lot easier to land a Freelancer than a larger vehicle as well, so I have many reasons to appreciate a ground assault. The downside with flying the Freelancer is I have no access to medical equipment. If I'm killed on the grounds of my target location, I will respawn in Everest Harbor, which means I will be far, far away from my Freelancer, and let's just agree that lots of bad things happen at that point. Leave it at that. So instead, we are going to go in for a landing on the landing pad here. And I will pick up the Dragonfly here. Excellent. Now let's see if I can do any repair work here. No, of course not. That would have made my life easy. Not available. I wonder if I have to be more centered or something. Let's take up a little bit. And see if the auto land will put me anywhere. Okay, this is not working out well. Come on, guys. I just want to land and get the ship repaired and refueled. Can't you help a guy out? Okay, fine. Be like that. I really don't need the repairs right now. I really don't need the refueling. I don't really need the restocking. It would have made life easier, but fine. Maybe I'll try the other landing pad after I load it up. But this, I'm trying to be polite and leave the larger pad available for larger vehicles. I don't really expect that to happen because most of the outposts on Hurston are kind of screwy right now. You can't do box delivery missions here without a bug hitting that makes them unworkable. You can't access the trade terminals here. That was a fairly new thing with the last patch. I'm hoping that with the next patch that might get fixed. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Now technically, I could have also grabbed the Dragonfly while I was up at Everest Harbor and worked the whole thing in space, because the Dragonfly is space-worthy. But I find a significant preference to doing things on the ground for ground-like vehicles. Besides, this is actually faster. Okay, the Drake Dragonfly. Basically, think speeder bike. We'll power this puppy on.
Hello and welcome aboard
And
your Drake.
immediately I'm hovering at a pretty good height,
Your systems
which
are
is
online.
always a little bit of a problem because if you dismount, it stays at this height. So you have to jump and hope you can get back on board. Now, I thought I'd read somewhere that they'd done some work on that in the next patch where it will actually be lowered to the ground as a default. And if so, more power to them. I would be thrilled by that. I would be enthusiastic by that. We'll see if that actually happens. Weapon systems, now that I'm on board. I am using scatter guns, so whether or not they will do the job against those turrets, I don't know. Also, another thing that we'll be wondering about, will the turrets recognize me as a vehicle or as a ship? Because the Dragonfly kind of fits under both categories. That could be problematic. Alright, now to get into the Freelancer without destroying anything, like me. That hover issue is
Friendly fire.
that's not friendly fire, that's bouncing off the side of the turret. Did I manage to get myself stuck in geometry? I think I have. Let's power off.
Engines offline.
Well, that plan did not work. That plan did not work at all. How am I going to get out of this mess? Well, let's see if I can dump the thing out. I have a feeling the answer is going to be no here.
Engines on.
Lift off. Let's tilt ourselves up. And no, I'm afraid that thing is well and truly stuck on board. So I've got a Dragonfly that is on the side there, not in a good place. Alright, let's get clever.
Collision. Rear collision. Landing successful. Engines off.
Okay, let's see if I can get a little clever here. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to reclaim the ship, the Dragonfly. Hopefully that will make it vanish from my cargo bay and I can try again. It's going to cost me some credits, but it'll certainly cost me a lot fewer credits than it would if I tried to, oh, I don't know, explode it while it's in the cargo bay of my Freelancer, which could also blow up the Freelancer. So once again, my grand plan has gotten a monkey wrench thrown into it. It's the kind of thing that makes me wonder if I'm ever going to get a bunker mission to work out while I'm, streaming. So, Dragonfly, claim. And I'll pay the couple hundred credits. That's a splash in the pan at this point. Retrieve the Dragonfly. Now, this will be interesting to see whether or not I still have a Dragonfly in the cargo bay. Because if not, then this is a serious potential exploit for the game, where you can basically manufacture as many vehicles as you want by use of claiming. I'm pretty sure that's not what's going to happen.
Hello and welcome aboard your Drake interplanetary craft.
Oh, this is so much better. It's actually being considered a hostile vehicle stuck in my cargo bay. Well, the plan has gotten further derailed. There's no way this is going to fit in there with it. And I can't blow it apart from inside because, well, there it is. This is a sticky wicket. I'm in an armistice zone, so it's not like I can shoot at it from here. And finally,
Engines offline.
to make life really insulting, I probably won't be able to board it again. Although you never know, stranger things have happened. Okay, let's try this. Vehicle's off, and the power may be off. It is now considered a hostile vehicle. So what I might be able to do is fly out of the armistice zone and then explode it.
Engines on. Launch sequence complete.
All I gotta do is just get out of armistice. You know, this is going to be an entertaining and learning experience, no matter how you slice it. Okay, I'm out of armistice. Unfortunately, I do still need to have the ship moving, because otherwise I'm going to crash onto the ground. You know what, actually, let's land this on the ground. Yes, I know I have having thruster problems. It just gotta be. Let's close this gap a little bit. Let's hope I'm not above water. Oh, wrong button. Wanted to rotate myself a little bit. I didn't want to turn on the scanners. Okay. Now we get entertaining. a vehicle in my cargo hold. It is considered a hostile vehicle in my cargo hold. So I need to make it go away. Hopefully without blowing up my ship in the process. To do this, I'm probably going to need something other than my custodian submachine gun. So we're going to pull out the Scourge railgun. This is made for blowing up ships. What that means is that there's also a fair chance I'm also going to blow up my Freelancer by accident. Well, if so, so be it. At least we'll get some laughs out of it, right? So, we're going to charge this puppy up. I may be standing too close. Well, so far, no good. Looks like that Dragonfly can take a few more shots. Alright then. I think it's still kicking. There must be a way to target with the railgun. I should probably see if there's any YouTube videos on that. Unfortunately, the goal here is not happening. I am being unable to take out that Dragonfly. Alright then. Time to take it to the next level. If I cannot blow it up with a railgun, we can try to take it out with a missile launcher. Which is, as far as I'm concerned, proof positive that I must be insane. Need to reload. I don't have any reloads. So I need to pop a reload pack on my armor here. Let's see. Take that off. Scroll down. Look for my extra missile launcher ammo. There we go. Okay, we got something here. In fact, we got it so well that I am going to get myself a little further back. Yeah, this is the kind of thing I wanted to see with that railgun. Oh, this is going to be entertaining. Are you serious? That Dragonfly does not want to go. Alright, well. At this point, I'm afraid extreme measures are going to be necessary. First, let's replace my magazine there with my standard custodian clip. Replace the missile launcher with the custodian, which is my standard equipment for light recon. Once we get the bunker busting mission up and running, someday, then I can swap things out a little bit, because I have heavier armor that I use for that. But in the meantime, well, clearly I cannot travel with the bike sitting there at the back end of my cargo bay with the cargo door open all the time. And steadfastly does not want to get exploded. So, there's only one other option left. Now, technically speaking, I'll probably also need to suicide myself, but because I'm not running 4 kilometers to the other dragonfly. But hey, at least now we'll get to see something really entertaining happen in about, maybe 15 seconds or less. Let's watch the show. And there it is, greasy chunks. And I finally got the damn dragonfly out of the way too. Yeah, not much of a floor in here anymore. It's actually in pretty good shape for something that just exploded itself. I don't know why I don't have a flashlight on this helmet. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I never understood why. Well, unfortunately, now that I'm all the way out here, all alone, the best way of dealing with the situation is the Clone Express, to borrow a phrase from my Star Wars Galaxy days. And we're back in Everest. Okay, well, was gonna do it the one way. It didn't work. So now we're going to have to do it the other way. Ironically, this will mean another trip over to Edmund. You know, the plan was nice in theory. I mean, honestly, the Freelancer is a smaller ship, easier landing, and if things went wrong, well, it's a lot shorter time to reclaim. As far as I'm concerned, I've already thrown 200 UEC on this stuff. Okay, technically it's Alpha UEC. I'm abbreviating. I do things like that. And while that's a splash in the pan, doing it all the freaking time does tend to irritate. So, we're going big. Hangar 3. And while I'm here, let's claim the Freelancer. And that way, if things go to pot here, like, you know, I get a 30K, that would never happen. If you're not familiar with 30Ks, those are server crashes, and they happen with an astonishing amount of regularity. They helped make life really miserable last week when I was trying to do pretty much this exact same thing. It did not work out well. This week seems like it's so far following the same pattern, but at least it's being entertaining. Why am I not moving? Stupid elevator buttons. One day, these elevator buttons are going to be revamped with the whole building blocks technology that CIG is talking about, and it cannot happen too soon. Especially if it's nice enough to indicate what hangar you're actually on at the time. Can't tell you how many times I've hit a landing pad, went into the station, and had no idea where I landed because there's no signage. It's annoying. You would think that, you know, the people who develop these space stations could spring for some extra paint to put numbers on the pads. Or if they wanted to be cheap about it, just above the doors. But here we are. let's hope that they get their building blocks technology done sooner rather than later. I'm a fan of the Carrack too. The Carrack is another one of those vessels that could be considered all-purpose. It's designed for exploration / expedition, but it fulfills a whole bunch of potential roles. It's got a medical facility, so if you get blown up, you can spawn back into the ship. It's got a large cargo bay, so you can do some cargo hauling. It would be a little bit overkill for it to do box deliveries, but yeah, that's possible too. It's got a fair number of turrets.
Aerospace, all systems online.
Let's see if there's anything I can repair on here before I go. Yeah, one UEC is not really something I need to worry about.
You are clear to launch.
Let's get myself pointed to Edmund again. I'll be using the larger landing pad this time. What a shock, right? The medical facilities will also treat any injuries you take, so if I end up being shot and like 25% health, I can always retreat back, get into the Carrack, go to the med bed, and treat the injuries.
Takeoff complete. Aft proximity alert. Port proximity
Okay, we're
alert.
gonna get out of here. We're gonna start spooling up the engines.
Forward proximity alert.
Thank you. And please visit again.
Landing gear raised.
I, of course, not thinking, hit the button to spool up again, even though I was spooling up, which turned it all off again. I really am my own worst enemy much of the time. Carrack also has a large garage and a small hangar, which means I can fit some somewhat large garage. I can fit some vehicles in there. I could have put a snub fighter in the hangar above, but that's too much work and effort that I'm not willing to put into right now. Let's see if I can get my speed increased a little bit here. Set the route again. Now you'll notice that there's a body of water next to Edmund. There is actually water on Hurston, and while it's not the most graphically beautiful water in the world, it does exist. I think they've been doing some water tech for the next patch, so it'll be interesting to see if we have any tidal action going on in the future. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll find out. Now things are pretty lit up now. I didn't think I had headlights on. But at the same time, it's still kind of dark, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. I didn't think the sun was up. I mean, it looks like it's kind of working its way there, but it's not there yet. Oh, now the lights are gone. I'm gonna blame atmospheric refraction. But now I can turn my headlights on. I'm also going to start limiting my speed a little more because I'm getting a little too close to what we laughingly refer to as certain death, otherwise known as the ground. The nice thing about all the amenities not really working at the HDMS locations is that I can pretty much take care of stuff without having to worry about any surprises like, you know, crazy pirate. That said, it's not a given. Stuff happens. Alright, cut speed. You know what? Yeah, there we are. Angle myself a little bit, make the approach, drop landing gear. And then hope
Forward proximity alert. Landing gear deployed. Deck proximity alert.
that I'm up
Forward
straight enough.
proximity alert. Deck proximity alert.
I'm going to go into third person here because I always have trouble making sure that I'm on these pads. There we go.
Engines offline.
So I've landed nicely and neatly. And since my Drake is still out there, I'm going to load that in the garage too. And then I'm going to grab the Ursa rover and I'm going to load that into the garage. I'm pretty sure I should have room for that. At one point I'd put a Cyclone in the garage along with the Ursa. So if I could do that, I can certainly do the Dragonfly. But I do gotta make sure about those that I, oh, let's do this too. Raise the back ramp. Now I need to make sure that I park to the right. Or to the left. Either one will work. A little breezy out, that's kind of affecting my movement speed at the moment. Which is a really annoying thing to have happen. The Platinum Bay area is all the way over there. I'd be tempted to take the Dragonfly over there, except I'd be worried that the Dragonfly would get stored when I do that. Sometimes plans just do not go the way you expect them to.
Hello and welcome aboard your Drake interplanetary.
On the bright side, it should be a lot easier to get into the Carrot Bay than I'd had to deal with for Freelancer. Oh, too far. Drop down. Turn off the power.
Offline.
Yeah, that's why I thought I'm hung up on the back ramp.
Engines online.
See if I can swing a little to the left. Good. Good.
Engines offline.
Close enough. Now that I have that taken care of, it's going to be a rough walk. There's me. About as generic a head as you can examine the figure on it. Oops. And I've accidentally put myself prone. Kind of monkey with too many keys at once. And the blue light in the distance is where I'm going. Moving at my brisk 2 miles an hour, maybe. I suppose I should technically do that in meters as opposed to feet, or miles, or kilometers, or what have you. But I suck at conversions. Okay, almost there. Once I'm here, I can pull up the rover, which probably is not using this as its immediate spawn point. I might get lucky though. It might just be stored. If it is, then I can just retrieve it. Otherwise, I'll have to claim it. I'm going to have to pull it. It's going to have to be a claim. 12 seconds and 300 UEC. Things I do. Okay, retrieve the rover. Now that I've popped down 500 UEC on this mission that I haven't even picked up yet, I'm probably going to have a 30k server crash any moment now. Because that's just how I roll. But there's the Ursa Rover. It's a much more rugged and handy vehicle, and it comes standard with every Anvil Carrack. Well, it comes standard with an Anvil Carrack off the pledge store. It's going to be available, the Carrack that is, it's going to be available in-game purchasing for about 26 million with the next patch.
Enjoy the ride. System check.
When that happens, it will be interesting to find out whether or not the Carrack will come with the Pisces Snub Fighter.
Please visit again.
I'm going to get that, yeah, light post. Okay, I'm going to go into third person now because backing this thing into the Carrack is a challenge to begin with. And it's going to be even more of a challenge now that I've got a Dragonfly sitting in there too. The goal is to back it in because it's a lot easier to drive out. And to do it without smacking the Dragonfly. And so far it's looking like I may smack the Dragonfly. Turn. Way. Okay, I've just smacked against the back ramp, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. Although I seem to be bouncing a little bit back and forth, so that's... Here we go. Okay, out of the third-person view, let's kill the engines and the power. The shortcut for killing the engines doesn't seem to work in ground vehicles, I don't know why.
System is off.
Now that I have two vehicles secured in the Carrack, I can close it up and get ready for the next phase. Which is to say, actually doing something. I don't seem to be able to get this door closed, however. This door I should be able to close, though. But apparently, okay, here we are, I'm almost there. Let's get a little closer. Close the door. Awesome. Alright. Phase 2. Go to the habitation deck again. And we're going to take a moment to go to the medical bay and set my primary intensive care unit. So that if I spawn there, if I die, I'll spawn there. And there we go. All set for any disaster short of a 30k. This step is going to be changing my my armor. I'm going to swap out to the heavy armor. I have a Woodland Helm ADP Mark IV Woodland that I use for violent missions like the one that is coming up. I'll save that before I start doing my weapon loadout. There we go. Now for weapons for a bunker mission, I tend to look at two different weapons. The Custodian Desert Shadow submachine gun is my oh crap weapon. It is an energy class weapon. It doesn't look like it, but it is. And I've got a small scope on it and an EMOD stabilizer which keeps the barrel from bouncing up and down when I'm shooting, theoretically speaking. I use this if things have gone to hell. If things have not gone to hell, it's because I've been using the P6LR Ballistic Sniper Rifle, which is a nice high-powered rifle that blows holes in targets. I usually like to use a 16 times scope, but for the bunker missions, I've discovered that it's not all that helpful. It's too much magnification. And I use a tacit suppressor because noise, quiet is important. The more people I can take out without anybody noticing, the better chance I have of completing the mission and not ending up dead. Finally, I have an S38 ballistic pistol. If all else goes horribly wrong, I want to back up. I have plenty of spare clips for my submachine gun, and my pistol, and my sniper rifle. Although I do have some S71s on here for assault rifle. I tried using the assault rifle for these kind of missions, but they tend to encourage precise fire. And the situation I'm in most of the time, if I need to use something other than a sniper rifle, is not a mission that encourages precision. Finally, all the way down here that you can't really see because of the blockage, I have a combat knife. Really, if I'm in a position where I'm using the combat knife, I'm as good as dead anyway, but hey, let's keep it in handy. I've also got a multi-tool, but that will not be something I would bother with. Alright. The only thing missing now is the mission, which will be under mercenary missions, and tend to go under the category, well, you got two different varieties here. You've got the execution warrant, which pays $3,500. It's a single target in a bunker, so if you happen to run into him right in the front, you can take him out immediately and not have to worry about clearing the bunker out. Or you can do the evict illegal occupants, which has all the targets in the location to take out. Now, I'm going to do a very brutal, honest disclosure here. I am not very good at first-person shooter. Like, at all. I also can't set a course in here. I need to go to the bridge. Get seated for that. I am not very good at first-person shooters. There was a time where I was decent at it. It was a long time ago, like back in the days of Doom and Duke Nukem 3D. If you recognize those, then congratulations, because that was a long time ago.
Engines online.
Now, hopefully, Breckenridge will be lit, meaning sunlight lit.
Takeoff complete.
So, it's been a very long time. I've not done the first-person shooter thing very much. And so I would not consider myself particularly awesome at it. But you never get good at something unless you practice. I don't consider myself a great pilot, but after having done a significant number of NPC bounty hunter missions, I can at least hold my own. I'm hoping to get to that point with the first person side. Now I need to be about 9,000 meters up before I can engage the quantum drive. Now if I'm not lucky, which would be perfectly in keeping with the way my fortune runs with these things, if I'm not lucky, it'll still be dark. And that will make landing the Carrack challenging, because Carracks work best when landing on flat surfaces. In finding a flat surface. Well, the good news is I'm getting the symbol there with dashes around it, and that usually implies it's on the other side of the planet. But just because it's on the other side of the planet doesn't necessarily mean it will be the lit side of the planet. I could simply be traveling north-south as opposed to east-west.
Drive is now on.
Here's to hoping. I had 8 hostiles. Now the goal is to be able to do this without getting killed. If I do get killed, I'll spawn Carrick and I'll be able to take a second vehicle. And that's the key thing here. I'm taking the vehicles
Quantum drive.
that get me to where I need to go. So I want to land well short of my target destination because I don't want those turrets blasting away at the Carrick. The Carrick might be able to take the hits with the shields up, but why take chances if you don't have to? Let's put the headlights on again because I'm going to need them. I mean, look, it's pitch black. I could be approaching the ground right here and not know it if I didn't have the headlights put on. At least with the headlights on, I'll know in advance. Now, the goal here is to land roughly 10 kilometers away. It's a fair distance, but it's easily coverable by a rover or a hover bike. Now, since I packed the rover in here, the rover is going to be what gets the first call. And if I die and end up in the med bay, I'll be able to take the Dragonfly. I am getting too close. I did not want to be that close. But on the bright side, I am getting close to the ground, too. Okay, I realize that that's not necessarily a bright side. And unfortunately, this looks like it's extremely rocky terrain here, which is not what I want to land on. Like I said, the Carrick likes flat surfaces. And
Forward.
ridges like this don't
Network
qualify.
proximity alert.
This is almost... I'm not in love with this, so I'm gonna keep going. A lot of dust and wind here. But it does look like we're a little flattening out here, at least enough for me to start thinking that I might be able to land in the middle of the milk around here. Well, let's give it a try. The goal here is to land in a position where I can drop the ramp and not have a gap between the ground and the lip of the ramp. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult getting the vehicle back on board. Well,
Deck proximity alert.
the hover bike will have no problem, but the rover certainly will.
Alert. Deck proximity alert. Port proximity alert.
Okay, the good news is I am landed. The bad news is I am landed in the exact wrong way. See, if I drop the ramp here, naturally it looks like I'm not exactly landed technically speaking. Okay, it wasn't pretty, but it might do. I'm going to open up the exterior from here and see what I see. I think it's going to be good enough. I think it's going to be good enough. So we're going to close the exterior from here because when I open the exterior, it also opens up the upper hangar. And I don't want to do that. That's just asking for someone to, you know, drop in literally and take the ship. Everything seems to be stable. I'm not bouncing around. That's good. If I don't have a solid landing, sometimes the ship tends to bounce. And that could be hazardous to the ship's health in the long term. Alright. It's showtime. Open sesame. Get on board. And we are going to get ready for excitement to happen. Turn on power.
Welcome to Rocket Space Industries.
Turn
Enjoy
on
the
the headlights.
System check.
Okay, that did not work the way it was supposed to. Alright. I'm out. I don't think I destroyed anything. I'm going to take a moment to step back outside and close up the Carrack. Now, if you're with multiple people, this kind of thing gets easy because someone can stay aboard and keep an eye on things, lower and drop the ramp and things like that. In fact, multiplayer is pretty much what the Carrack is designed for. It doesn't mean it can't be used, obviously, but it's not going to reach its full potential. That said, it's not going to reach its full potential until certain game elements are added, like exploration, the type of scanning that it's supposed to be used for, and what have you. Alright. I did remember to close the back door, right? Yes. So, I am 4 kilometers away from target location, a lot closer than I wanted to be, but at the bright side, I'm also not being shot at. Now there's 2 general ways you can drive. You can do the first person driving, which is more immersive certainly, but especially at times like this where it's night out, you're not going to have too much advance notice of anything really horrible ahead, like sudden cliffs and all that, so I will often go with the third person view. Now the disadvantage of the third person view is that I don't know where my target is. I mean, I know it's supposedly ahead of me, but I don't actually see it ahead of me. I have to rely upon the marker, you know, technically it's not even ahead of me. There we go. Oops. Now see, big rocks. Don't drive into them. Now also notice, I have guns up top. That is how I'm going to deal with the annoying problem of those turrets. I don't know if they fail to recognize me, or if they're just horrible shots against ground targets. But I find that taking the turrets out with a rover is a lot easier than taking it out with a free racer. And taking out the turrets can be important because if I get wiped out twice, and therefore my rover and my Dragonfly are stuck here, then I want to be able to fly my Carrack all the way back here without having it blown up. So I have, in effect, 3 opportunities to take out the targets. We are a little over 1.5 kilometers away. Oh. Oh. That almost got ugly. Oh. There may not be an almost about this. I can go forward though, that's good. Come on, a little more, a little more. Oh, that was too close. It would be ridiculously easy. Uh-oh. Okay, good. Whew. I thought something had busted on the engines. It would be ridiculously easy to upend the Ursa. It is ridiculously easy to upend the Ursa, in fact. And once that happens, there's no hope for it. It is not getting back up and to fly again, shall we say. Let's see where I'm at. I am not pointing at my target anymore. So, try your very best not to hit a big rock. Like that one ahead. Because those have the potential to really mess up your day in an epic manner. Now you can see the destination is ahead. And once I get to that point, I want to have my first person again because you can see that those turrets are opening fire. And I want to be able to make sure that they don't fire at me very much. I'm not sure if I took that one out or not. I still see the icon there, but... Okay, now it's down. There should be 4 turrets to deal with. One's on top of the bunker, and we'll deal with that when I get a clean shot at it. I think that one's hit by a box. Going the other way. Yep. That's 2. Still don't have a decent shot at the top one. That's 3. That just leaves the one on the top side. And down. Ladies and gentlemen, the bunker is now undefended. And I appear to be near the front, which is good. I'm just going to drive a little closer up front here. There's a chunk of the gun sitting there. Turn off the headlights, power off the systems. I'll leave the power itself on actually, because that way the shields are still active. Open sesame. One of these days I'll get those doors open promptly standing up. Alright. First thing I'm going to do, weapons check. Make sure that there's no bug that prevents me from shooting. Alright. We are going to stick with the sniper rifle at the moment, because, again, my preference is to take out the opponents before they even know I'm there. If I do that, with each target I take out, my chances of succeeding in this mission go way up. I am also going to do one more quick check on something, because one thing that is very important are meta pens. Because if I get shot at and I get hit and I don't die, it would be nice to stay not dying. Alright, boys and girls. It's showtime. Okay, there's target number 1. Try to crouch here so he doesn't necessarily see me right off the bat. this is going to be a tricky shot. I think it's doable. Yeah, one down. Let's see if I can see any other targets. Okay, that's kind of good and that's kind of bad because I may not be able to see them, but that doesn't mean they're not there. It just means I can't see them. Don't see anything on the far side. Oh, there's another guy right over there. Oh, headshot. That's the way I like to do it. Every target I take out without them getting a good shot at me improves my odds. Of course, as Han Solo would tell you, don't get cocky, kid. Now the downside with sniping these guys is they don't drop their guns. Hi there. Bye there. And if they don't drop their guns, that means you can't loot them. I don't think there's anybody hiding behind here, but there might be. So far we have taken out 3 targets. We're not halfway through, but not halfway through yet. But we're making excellent progress. Now the goal here is to avoid an oh crap situation like the one I'm about to have there. Okay, things have gone to the oh crap situation. Oh hell. Looks like the bug hit. Well, that is exactly how I did not want it to go. Unfortunately, checking the gun did not work for the switchover for my custodian, which meant it didn't fire, which meant I got killed. So now I'm back in the Carrack, which is good, because that's exactly where I want to be. But I am not in a good place. Also, I will have dropped my gun, but the good news is I was using the handgun at the time, and I have apparently plenty of pistols. Unfortunately, they're all arc-light pistols, so I would have to swap out my clips for arc-light clips. Arc-light is an energy weapon, and that's all I'm going to actually equip, because if I get into a situation where I need more than one extra clip of hand pistol, things have already gone to hell. Unfortunately, things have gone to hell. And I did not get helped at all by that bug that hosed my custodian. Now the good news about the Dragonfly is that the Dragonfly, it'll hover over rocks. And I went in the wrong seat because I forgot that I did not back up the Dragonfly. I went straight ahead of the Dragonfly. So I went on the wrong side.
Engines online.
Out we go. We'll kill the engines for a moment so I can get off and close the Carrack up again. If I have to make the choice, the vehicle I will leave behind will be the Dragonfly because, well, because. Not exit. Why am I getting exit? Passengers on the wrong side again. I should have realized that from the headlights. Sometimes it's astonishingly incredible just how slow I am. Here we are. Engines back online. And because I can hover over the rocks, I can pretty much go to my target destination and not worry. Except I have one teeny tiny problem. I don't see my target. And it's probably because I'm in what's considered a space vehicle, even though it's not. Well, that aspect of the plan seems to have hit a bit of a derail. Well, let's see what happens. I can at least generally get a decent idea of the direction I'm going by putting some distance between me and my Carrack, and then seeing where it compares with my destination. Okay, it's not going to be that simple. And it's not tracking my Ursa either, which would have been nice. How about that? There's something solid there. Who would have thunk it? So we seem to be having a double problem here. Problem one, I have no idea if I'm going the right way. Problem two, my Ursa rover has failed me, it's being identifiable, so I don't even have that I can home in on.
Attention. Engines overheating.
And that's what I get for using the boost. Okay, that's not good. I managed to find something that will knock me over. Let's see what happens if I power off.
Engines offline. Engines online.
This is looking to be a fiasco. I'm driving on my side right now. I am quite literally scraping my face on the ground of Hurston. Oh boy. Okay, well, let's try to get out and see if I can do it without getting killed. Well, the distance is about right. Unfortunately, this suit does not have a helmet that has any light on it. which is annoying. And I am far from home. Alright, that plan is not working. We're going to have to go with plan C. Well, there is a reason I blew up those turrets, isn't there? This is, sadly, an awful lot of work for 7,000 credits. And people wonder why there's so many cargo haulers in the game. But, you know, it's easy to be bored if you do the same thing over and over and over again.
Engines online.
Alright, Beacon
Takeoff
Ridge.
complete. Starboard proximity alert.
I seem to be having some trouble taking off. Must be wind effects. I shouldn't be having this kind of problem until, you know, the next patch. Turn on the headlights. Swing around. Now see? Now I can see my destination. Why did I have so much problems on the Dragonfly? I tell you, sometimes things are inconsistent with the game. That's the hazard of being an alpha state game. Alright, let's level out and land.
Deck proximity alert.
Yeah, it's called the ground.
Aft proximity alert. Deck proximity alert. Engines offline.
This does not seem to have worked the way it should. Oh, there's a lot of spiky things around here, so
Forward
let's
proximity alert. Starboard
move up a
proximity
little bit,
alert.
and then try to level down again.
Port proximity alert.
What am I stuck on? I think it's just a question of not being level ground. What am I stuck on? I'm stuck on grass. Grass is keeping me up.
Takeoff complete. Engines offline. Landing complete.
Okay. Submachine gun is active and working, and we are going to keep that up. At this point, it's a safe bet that the enemy knows I'm there. Of course, there's another potential glitch that may be going on that we will find out about momentarily. You see, one of the essential problems is if there's nobody there, things will reset, but they don't reset quite right. So those dead targets may end up as standing T-pose kind of targets, which is insane. I'm kind of used to it saying by now. Now, if this doesn't work, if I end up dead again, well, at least my character's right here, right? And I can basically zerg this until those turrets decide to go back online and start shooting again. I'm kind of surprised they haven't done it now. There's a lot about the AI of this game that I do not fully understand. If I were to point out a moment that things went really wrong here is when the sniper shot on that last guy didn't turn out to be an instant kill. If that had happened, I would be down to 3 targets as opposed to 5. Well, I'd be down to 4 and probably 3. But now we're in what we would call a situation. Well, the good news is they haven't taken up defensive positions. And the dead targets are still, you know, actually being dead. Okay, saw one of my targets over there. How's that for being dead, buddy? Hi! He's in a freaking wall. How can he be shooting me? This guy should be dead.
Right here.
Well, the fact that this guy is glitched into the bloody wall is a pretty good sign that I'm going to fail this
They're
mission.
right here. Back up.
Excuse me.
Right here.
Oh, good. I found a leg. Well, that's unexpectedly gruesome.
Give them all you got.
On the bright side, he's going to have a hard time chasing me. Oh, hell. Oh, for heaven's sake, reload the damn... Okay. That was annoying. And I bet that one guy is still alive because he didn't bleed out. And I dropped my gun, so I won't be able to use the custodian anymore. Oh, we have quite the comedy of errors happening here today, don't we? So we are going to use my P4 AR assault rifle. And we're going to swap out the clips too, so that I don't have to worry about anything embarrassing, like, you know, not having any more ammunition. Actually, not the P4 AR. That's one of the ones that they drop. They tend to use those. What I want to be using is something a little more comfortable, like the S71 assault rifle. That's more like it. So, S71 round. S71 round. And one more S71 round. Yeah, there we are. Now, as I've mentioned before, the S71 is a little more precision-oriented. It's not a spray and pray kind of weapon. Although it might be. I never tested to see whether or not it has a secondary attack mode like some of these other guns do. It's possible that the secondary attack mode has a automatic feature. Why don't we test that? Ooh, gee, I never closed the door. I'm lucky there's still a Carrack here. Okay. Gun works. If I'm looking for lessons learned from that last encounter, I'd say don't waste so much ammunition on a guy's leg when he's clearly not going anywhere. Also, make sure that my medipens are up to date. There are 3 targets remaining. I'm going to freely admit this has not been what you would call the best run I've ever had. I've had runs where I was able to take out 5 of my targets by sniping, and I've had runs that have gone, shall we say, less successfully. Oh look, he's alive again. He's also not dying. Of course, he's also not harming me. Yeah, you know, if you can't hurt me, I don't care about you. Still plenty of opportunities for me to get killed here. See what I mean about a little more precision? But it's also louder. Two targets remain. One target remains. And afterwards, I think I might... Oh, look! And we are done! And now we're going to do the more entertaining portion of this encounter. I'm going to unequip my rifles. And then I'm going to pick up the guns that have been dropped and take them for myself. all I have to do is, identify where the dead bodies all are. Well, there's one right here. Still that rifle. And stow that rifle. And thanks to the way the game works at the moment, now that I have 2 rifles equipped, I can unequip them and free up the space to pick up more. Now, one could ask, why would I do this kind of crazy thing? Well, because it's potentially useful. That's really the only reason I need. Now, for some ships, they have weapon racks where you can put them, basically put all the guns, use another one, put all the guns, okay, it looks like I haven't equipped that one. Oh, that's okay, I can equip the best one. I don't think I've stowed the previous one, have I? Unequip. Unequip. Save, please. I wonder if one of these is my, I wonder if I look hard enough, I'll find my custodian again. It is not storing this, how about that? So maybe if I do it a little differently. I'll equip different weapons and see what happens. As I'm doing all this, the big hope here is that nobody else is picking up this mission. Because if that happens, odds are all the bad guys are going to respawn and I'll end up dead again. Alright. Can I stow them now? Yes, I can. Ah, that is my custodian. That will definitely be what I pick up. Yeah. It's nice when you can get your weapons back. I think, however, that may be all the weapons I'm going to get, because after that, the only weapon I think that's still out there is in the hands of that one guy who will not die, but seems oddly unable to hurt me. Nope, I do have one more weapon. Oh, and he is hurting me now. Oh, for heaven's sake. And yet with all this, I'm still trying to grab the second weapon. Oh, you know what? Instead of fighting this guy, I'm just going to evade him and say, see ya. Because if I can't kill him, there's no percentage in staying around and fighting. And and the injuries I've gotten from that, I can heal with the Carrick. So, as far as ground missions go, it was technically a success, but it was one stinker of a success. This was not one of my better forays. But on the bright side, I do get to recover my Ursa rover. Incidentally, I'm pretty sure that... Okay, I guess I'm not. I thought this had a weapon rack in here, but it doesn't. It looked like a weapon rack, but it's actually component access stuff. I'll demonstrate the weapon rack shortly. Once I get the Ursa rover closer to where I want to go. First, though, I need to turn the engine back on. And then the next trick, and it will be a trick, is getting it on board the Carrick again, because I am not 100% convinced that the ramp is going to go all the way down. Let's try that again. Bloody cactuses. Okay, once I get this back aboard, and forget the dragonfly, that is just not going to happen. Well, no, it's still turned over. It's not worth trying to retrieve under those circumstances. Yeah, I was concerned about that. And I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to get the speed up to So it looks like the Ursa is going to have, well, actually that's not 100% true. On first sight, it does look like that the Ursa will have to be abandoned. But I can get clever. Now I am able to jump on here. I wasn't too concerned because I can always, do the Clone Express again to the med bay. But there are better plans. Now, better is, of course, a relative term, but I should be able to pull this off. I don't think I'll be able to pull it off with the next patch, but I'm pretty sure I can pull it off now. We're going to kick everything back on again. You'll note that I left my ramp open. I'm going to rise up a bit. Then I'm going to tilt forward a bit. Try to tilt forward a bit. I think I'm tilting forward too much of a bit. That's what I want. Now I'm going to leave the seat. I'm technically using the engines to hold my ship in place while I effectively rammed the ramp to the ground. And then I glitched right back into my seat. And for a minute there I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get back out of it. I was hitting the key to leave and it was just not working. Oh yeah, I still have 84% health I should take care of. Ursa first, then we'll fix the bodily harm. Actually, Ursa first, take off into space again. Then we'll take care of everything else. Because if those things get active again, those turrets, I'll be in a bad way. That is not a place I want to be. Now, I have no idea if I'll be able to pull this sort of thing off in the new flight model for the atmospheric flight model. I'm guessing that I won't. Oops. Well, the good news is I found the ramp. The bad news is the ramp isn't where I wanted it to be. I am really not doing a good job on this. I'm really not doing a good job on this. The fact that we're in the dark here is not helping. Because I cannot see the bloody ramp. So I'm going to just do what I generally don't do. Oh god. Oh god, that's not good. The ship is blowing away. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, Ursa has just become a lost cause. And it's too high up for me to get into, so before it gets too far away that I can't spawn into it, someday doing this sort of thing will no longer be possible. Someday death is going to have consequences. But before they can do that in the game, they're going to have to fix a whole lot of other stuff, so. On the bright side, hey, I don't have to worry about healing myself anymore. So that's it. Too bad, Ursa. I tried, but it's too dark out, too windy, too hostile, and the ground is not level enough.
Aft proximity alert. Port proximity alert.
It's just time to just go. Close the exterior just in case the pretty sure the door is still open. And so I leave my ground vehicles behind. This was not the finest hour. But hey, at least I netted roughly 6,500 profit on this mission. I got my 7,000, less the 500 it cost to expedite the retrieval of my vehicles. It could have been worse. So in a moment, I'm going to actually forget that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let me clear my course. I think I'm pretty, yeah, I'm still set to Breckenridge. And what we're going to do is go to one of the OM points, if I can. Not a guarantee. If I can go to an OM point, that would be ideal. But I'm not finding an OM point. Navigational marker would have been my preference at that point. It is. Okay, excellent. It's basically high enough that it's not an atmosphere anymore, and therefore gravity does not get involved.
Drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Landing gear raised.
Oh, right, I had that. Oops. Okay. Now, speaking of the rifles earlier, weapons racks, I'm going to take a moment to demonstrate that now. Just because I can. To do this, I need to go to the bottom deck, the subdeck. Now use the rear elevator because it's closer. To my destination, that is, not to where I was. Now there are spaces to put spacesuit armor things that don't actually work right now. The weapon lockers, however, do. So let's see. Okay, that's one of the weapons I looted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it onto the rack. And I can do that probably with every one of the guns I've picked up. Which incidentally includes a couple of the ones that I'd looted from a previous excursion. So save those. Pull one out. Place that one here. Pull this one out. Place this one here. Now what this means is if you have a crew, for example, you could have them arm themselves here. And you could put pretty much any rifle or pistol on there. I'll demonstrate the pistol too while I'm here. Okay, pull up another gun, place it. So you got two to a rack. Now, if I had a pistol, like say this one, oh yeah, I have no idea where my other pistol went. Somewhere in the bunker, but oh well. And I think you can fit 3 of the pistols here. Let's find out. I'm pretty sure I have multiple arc lights I can work with. Yes. So I can put in 3 pistols. And now, for the grand caveat. While you can put this stuff in here, it will not persist. Not yet, anyway. The game is not yet in a stage where it will remember that they're there if you store your vehicle, or if you log off, or if you get 30k'd. Yes, I am kind of taking a chance if you want to look at it that way, because I put a bunch of guns on the rack there. The way I see it, I've got a sidearm already still in my inventory, and my preferred guns are still in my inventory. So if a 30k should happen while I'm messing around like this, I don't really actually lose anything. Alright. Since I've got the Carrack up here, and since I am mildly insane, let's take a quick hop to Aerial and see if I can do a small load of minerals. A lot will depend on whether or not piracy is a thing at the moment.
Quantum drive is now on.
It's always the risk you take when you do a run like this. Let us not give any help.
Quantum drive is now off.
Okay, well, the comma ray is still up, which is a good sign. I just have to go to a destination and hope that the light is still up. Man, I'm not used to seeing light. It's been a while. With that operation occurring in the nighttime, doing that bunker buster thing.
Quantum drive is now on.
Let's hope it's still sunlight at the destination. No, looks like I will continue to be operating in the dark. Well, why not?
Is now off.
Although I will admit it's not as dark as it could be. It's not pitch black. Let's do a preliminary scan. That may or may not actually mean anything, but I'll feel better when I'm in roughly 10,000 kilometers. Sorry, 10 kilometers away. 10,000 kilometers. That would be a little rough. Because I'm not entirely sure how far my scan range is. But I'm betting 10 kilometers is the magic number. So far, nothing on scan. I honestly figured I'd at least scan a caterpillar or something like that by now. Altitude is dropping, but the target is in sight. Drop the landing gear in advance of the landing here.
Landing gear deployed.
If I wanted to, I could respawn in the Ursa and Dragonfly here. But that's not really why I'm here.
Forward proximity alert. Port proximity alert.
Let's straighten that out. I know that the area is flat here. Obviously, it's a landing pad.
Cough complete. Engines offline. Landing complete.
Okay. Let's take a quick trip out. Now that I'm in an armistice zone, I really don't need all the heavy artillery I've got here. I also don't need this ramp up anymore. All it's being is in my way. over yonder is the storage facility that will allow me to do some trading. Generally recognizable by the red lit tower, or by the word storage on the building's name. Usually. Not necessarily always, but usually. We will do some purchasing, grab the Carrick. Lair Knight's the big thing here. Now I could very easily use all of my funds here and really go crazy. And if a 30k comes in, I will wipe out everything. At the same time, I don't want to make it worthless. I mean, otherwise I could use my freelancer for this. So I'm trying to get roughly 150 in here. You know what? 151 will be fine. I'm not a perfectionist. That way, if the evil 30k happens, I am not completely hosed. Now, of course, this means that my profit margins will also not be incredibly super awesome, but you know what? Given the way my luck has been on these streams, I'm fully expecting the 30k to hit almost any time now. I'd prefer not to start from complete scratch. All that said, 310 is going to happen sooner or later, and I figure I stand a better than even chance of having all of my money wiped out at that point. They claim that persistence will keep the wallet around. Of course, they said that last time, and I lost 700k. Oddly, I'm not sure I can take their word for it. When I get the inkling that there's a possibility that the patch is going to get deployed, the first thing I'm going to do is spend everything I have on something else. Which, admittedly, also may not persist, but at least I'll feel better. Okay, we've got our cargo in. We're going to take a trip to Lorville.
Engines online. Takeoff complete.
Who knows? Maybe it'll actually be daylight in Lorville. It'd be nice to, you know, not be operating somewhere that's pitch black for a change. Let's see, the curve is the other way, so if Lorville is on the opposite side of the planet, I think there's a chance that it might actually have daylight out there. Fortunately, I'm having a little trouble getting this map to get me to target Lorville. There we go. So, I have a shot. Incidentally, you'll notice that my spooling and calibration times are pretty good. My speed is pretty good with my quantum jumps here. I did do an upgrade to my Carrick at one point, so I'm not using the default quantum drive. It chews up fuel horribly, but it's also a lot faster. I can live with that.
Quantum drive is now off.
Alright, keep the fingers crossed. Will it be daylight in Lorville, or will I be operating again at nighttime? The answer is in just a short 15 seconds or so.
Quantum drive is now on.
It's looking promising. Looking very promising. It is going to be daylight. I'd almost forgotten what that looked like. And I'm even coming in at a good approach angle, too.
Quantum drive is now off.
I can't really see. Oh, there we are. I can barely see the spaceport landing lights, but I've been here enough times that I can recognize the general vicinity just on sight now. I've definitely spent too much time in Warville. I realize I'm running slightly over my planned schedule of closing up at 3 p.m. Eastern, but I've been known to extend it a bit if I wanted to wrap things up on a decent note. And I think the decent note for today would be getting into the central business district and selling off my cargo.
Thank you for contacting Lorville Landing Services. Stand by for an available space.
Alternatively, we can get a 30k server error, and that would be a good spot to stop too, because of sheer frustration. Let's hope for the former, not the latter.
Bogey.
Oh, there's a hostile. Someone must have an abandoned vehicle somewhere. I thought I was asking for a landing bay. Give me my landing
Assigning
bay.
you an open spot.
Please do. Okay, I'm gonna put myself on manual instead of cruise control. Something I've been trying a lot of lately has been eyeballing my approach and my landing for larger ships and hangars. Basically, the theory is this. If I'm... nuts. I'm in one of the bad places and it's going to autopilot me. Hopefully it's not going to autopilot me into something solid and blow me up. That would be typical. Okay, the good news is... that I did not crash into something. Okay, once I get myself leveled out a bit, we're gonna go straight ahead. Telling me I have a restricted area below me is stupid because I have a freaking landing pad below me.
Deck proximity alert.
Now I'm
Deck
trying to
proximity alert. Forward proximity
basically
alert.
tilt and move down at the same
Aft
time.
proximity alert. Forward proximity alert. Port proximity alert.
I am not sure if I'm straight enough or not.
Port proximity alert.
Let's roll the dice.
Deck proximity alert.
So far so good. Let's lower the landing gear. And I'm within the
Landing gear deployed.
rectangle.
Landing complete.
And it worked out and I didn't have to go to third person view. I'm calling that a win under any circumstance.
Weapons offline.
Is there any repairs I can do here? We'll do a short bit of repair. I'm not too concerned about the hydrogen fuel because I can always scoop it somewhere along the line. Carrick does a decent job on that. Now that I'm landed, I no longer need fear the 30k. As far as the server is concerned, I am landed with my cargo safe, so even if the 30k hits, it will still be there. So in other words, the scary part of all of this is done. And because we are in a nice, relatively safe area now, I'm just going to unequip my armor and go civilian. It helps that Hurston actually has a breathable atmosphere. Although breathable is probably pushing it because Hurston is not exactly what you would call environmentally friendly. Let's just say that the worst days of Los Angeles smog probably would be comparable. So now we wait for the elevator to get here. There it is. I just love the bug, how the door just travels out of nowhere. Now, what would be really nice if I could pull it off, and I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to, it would be nice if I could pull off getting enough credits to purchase one more spaceship before the next patch rolls in. I don't know if the purchased ship would be persistent or not, but I would like to get a hold of one of the Avenger vessels. And I'm kind of looking at Warlock at the moment because it's got the EMP thing on it, and I'd like to mess around with that. But any one of the Titan ships that are, sorry, one of the Avenger ships, any one of them would be acceptable. I'm not sure if it's Titan that's the model name or Avenger's model name. Oh, is that door? That's the door. Here I am, and looks like my coat has clipped like crazy. That's always a hazard with these games. Wonder if I can cause it to. I usually prefer wearing the dusters, but let's stick with something that doesn't clip for a change. Oh, you know, that didn't work at all. Now I'm not wearing anything as a jacket.
Now arriving. Stand by and let passengers disembark before boarding.
It says it's equipped, so why am I not seeing it? I think it just came on when I wasn't looking. There we are. Now that's something I'm kind of disappointed by too. These Invictus jackets were purchasable during the Invictus Free Flight Week for in-game credits. But the problem with buying things with in-game credits is, again, persistence may or may not happen, which means when the next patch comes, it may go bye-bye. I would have actually paid money to purchase this on the RSI store if it had been available, like corporation shirts. But it was not. So I am somewhat bitterly disappointed by it, but only somewhat. I usually like to wear the long coat anyway. That's just, you know, something that's a holdover from my earliest days of MMO playing. I make no apologies. So we're taking the tram, and you know, it's not exactly what you call great visuals here, but the bus rides at Area 18 and Arkham are far more interesting to watch. But I believe we should be pulling in any time now. Yeah, there we are.
Now arriving at Central Station. Please watch your step when disembarking the train.
Tell you, the Hurston family, they do love their statues. I mean, look at these things. They're huge. Now, granted, it could be stone with gold paint. But come on. If you're rich enough to purchase a planet, you can afford to make huge statues out of solid gold. That's what you call serious wealth. There's another one. So you can definitely get the impression that those who have the authority, the power, the influence, they get to live it pretty well. The ones who don't live in the ugly spots of Lorville, where you're lucky to be breathing straight. And there's my profit. Not too bad. And that feels like a good note to close up on. For those watching, I hope you enjoyed the bunker busting. It did not go exactly as planned, but there was enough going on in it, and it was successful ultimately. And it did fulfill its primary goal of giving me some practice, which I will undoubtedly continue to improve upon, hopefully. My next stream will be Star Trek Online for this Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. There will also be another Star Citizen stream, which will occur, well, sometime next weekend. It may be for Sunday at 1 p.m. It may be for Saturday at 1 p.m. Again, that's still something I'm working out, and it'll be on my schedule. If you look below, or it has the little tabs that say About and Videos and Schedule. The schedule will be up to date, hopefully as early as I can make it. Until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this glimpse of a different side of Star Citizen. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.